Level 1 to 25 Lightning Sorcerer today. Let me walk you through what skill to pick at every level for maximum strength outcome, but you can refund at any time and also roll your skills back if you feel like going a different route. This video is for the spam Chain Lightning build, but we'll follow with Fire, Melee Mage, Ball of Lightning Madness, Spewing Hydras, and other shenanigans. The first skill point goes into Spark. Launch a bolt of lightning that shocks enemy 4 times. Then Enhanced Spark. Each spark hits a primary target. It has a 20% chance to hit up to 3 additional times. And then Spark instead deals 20% increased damage to its primary target as well. With this, you unlock the next tier, your core skills. And that's where already having the Chain Lightning, the most important one, which bounces 6 times. And interestingly enough, if there's not enough enemies, it bounces back to you and then from, and then back to you and then from. And that is very good. 1 point in there, then straight up go back to Spark, and you can actually have each time Spark hits an enemy, it has a 3% chance to form a crackling energy. Crackling energy you pick up from the ground, and it does area damage, pulsing to everyone around you, and the more you pick up, the more area damage you deal, and then they get depleted, and so on. Now your 5th skill point goes into Enhanced Chain Lightning. Chain Lightning gains a 3% increased critical strike chance per bounce, which is good later on. And that is followed up by the most important skill, that's Greater Chain Lightning. If Chain Lightning bounces off you, it next hit deals 25% increased damage. And that is, especially in boss fights, very nice. You hit him, comes back to you, 25%, comes back, 25%, comes back. So that is the beauty of Greater Chain Lightning, of bouncing back and forth. Which brings you then to the defensive tier. 6 points are spent, the 7th that goes into Ice Armor. Ice Armor is incredibly nice because with another point, you can straight up go for Enhanced Ice Armor, which gives you 25% mana regeneration, and that helps tenfold. Then you want to put a point in Teleport, but I would highly recommend trying to find an item that also gives you 1 point in Teleport, so you don't have to waste a point here on this, but put it in. That's going to be point 10, 11, and you have 12% more damage overall. Now you could say, why don't I just put points into Spark or Chain Lightning? Well, 12% damage overall more, or on one respective skill. 11 points in, point 12 goes into Lightning Spear. Conjures a lightning that just flies around you and continuously keeps dealing damage. Very good skill that can also, after critical striking, Lightning Spear gains a 5% increased stacking critical strike chance for its duration, which is really nice. But last but not least, collecting Crackling Energy increases damage of your next Lightning Spear cast by 20% up to 100%. And that's incredibly nice because, you know, you're going to be creating crackling energy up here. You're going to do area damage. You pick that crackling energy up and you do more damage. You could also go for Lightning Spear stuns enemies for 2 seconds when critical striking, which will it inadvertently do because you obviously have the higher crit chance increase. So this is a little bit like choose your poison. Do you want a higher damage output, or do you want just some more crowd control, especially when you're fighting the elite opponents? Against bosses, the stun field's quite useless, so I went there for just even more damage. Now we need 2 more points for the next tier, and that is where I choose to get another 12% damage increase. And then since you're using your base skill quite a lot, for now, put another point in Spark. Then we come to the next tier and you're like, wow, Ball of Lightning, such a cool skill. Not for this build. For this build, we're going to go for the Static Discharge. Critical strikes with shock skills have a 5% chance to form a crackling energy. Interesting, because obviously we have here the Lightning Spear that can get more damage with crackling energy, and up there we create crackling energy, and then we have more chance to crit for more crackling energy. Plus, up in absorbing crackling energy, you gain +4 mana. That is very good. Now we would need 5 points to reach our ultimate, which is Unstable Currents. Lightning surges within you 10 seconds whenever you cast a shock skill. A random core, Conjuration, or Mastery shock skill is also cast, which is insane. We're 18 points deep. We need 5 more, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3. Now we have 3 out of 5 in Chain Lightning, which is very important. We go down here. We can do 1 more in Unstable Currents. That is going to give us the ultimate. And then also Cursing Currents. Hitting enemies with shock skill increases your critical strike chance by 1%. Resets up and getting a critical strike. So the more skills you cast, the more strikes you get, and the better it goes. Now I have 1 more skill point that you would usually not have, but you get that for actually hiring your reputation and getting that further upwards. And that one also goes into Chain Lightning. Now we only have 4 out of 5 in Chain Lightning, which seems kind of like weak, but again, the point in Teleport back here would actually go into chain lightning as soon as you pick up an item for that. Now, one of the most important things to get with this build is the recharging aspect from the Zenith dungeon. Each time chain lightning bounces off you, you gain 4 mana, which gives you an insane recovery because you're always going to be struggling a little bit with mana regeneration. That Zenith dungeon, here's Conjuration, is all the way in the top right at the Fractured Peaks. You do this as early as possible. So if you arrive here and you can just walk straight up through and you could get into the Zenith dungeon to beat it and then put that on an item, it will help you tremendously with your mana problems. Now here's a stronghold boss for you to show you the power of the build. I have a staff when I'm standing still that I get 30% bonus damage after 2 seconds. I start with a lightning spear because that throws around for 6 seconds, follow up by chain lightning until I'm out of mana. Then we're going for the ice armor to higher our regeneration again and dodge some attacks. And we're obviously using sparks to create crackling lightnings that we then pick up for more mana and more damage on the next lightning spear cast. Followed up by unstable currents whenever that is available to pump out as much damage as possible. As soon as you reach level 15, you can also use an enchantment. There are a couple, for example, killing an enemy has a 14% to form a crackling lightning, or evade is replaced with a short range teleport on a 17-second cooldown. I'm using the chain lightning. Chain lightning forms automatically after spending 100 mana. As you notice, my build is kind of made to regain that mana. So as soon as you always spend 100 mana, you shoot just another chain lightning. That seems a little bit dull, especially as you have something like the lightning spear. Absorbing crackling energy has a 10% chance to conjure a lightning spear. Very good as well, especially if you create even more crackling energy. Now that being said, I went for the safe route to just always get one spell as soon as I spend 100 mana. Obviously, there is another build, and that's going to be the Ball of Lightning build, which has lucky hit. Critical strikes have a 25% chance to spawn a static ball of lightning. And that's the build we're going to be covering in the next video. Now, I hope you enjoyed this little guide. If you do have any feedback, please drop it in the comments below. I'm going to link you a live stream video that's 3 hours of essentially playing this respective mage, clearing the stronghold so you can see the ins and outs of it. If you still need a feeling for how do you actually play it, how does it hold itself against opponents?